Hey guys, David here. Listen, as I'm wrapping up this episode with me and my wife talking about inner healing, I want to encourage you to please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment the video, and if you have any other ideas for topics that we should talk about, please leave it in the comment section and we will touch on those as soon as we can, okay? So again, comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you can also know every time that we are dropping new content out there. All right, guys, take care. God bless, and I hope you enjoy the video. All right. 3, 2, 1. What is up, y'all? Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
All right, guys. So it's been a while since we did a podcast.
Yeah.
We are going on what? Probably months since we did a recording. But we're here today. We kind of did this at the last minute. And yeah, we're just going to talk some good stuff here. So, Nachelle, say hi to the world.
Yo, what up, world? I'm a superstar.
Yeah, leading into this, she was getting on my nerves with that ASMR. Don't you think about it? Leave it alone. Don't. She's been with me for long enough, okay? She knows what gets on my nerves. And she knows that sound is it. And she still does it anyways. But I'm going to forgive her for this podcast. And then I'm going to be back to be mad at her again. But anyways, today we're going to talk a little bit. Today we just kind of decided to talk about one single topic, and that topic is on Christians being healed. Yeah, we got a chance to go on a little short date. We went and got ice cream. We went and got some barbecue at what is it, Fat Bob's?
Yeah,
Fat Bob's. And then we made our way back and whatnot. So good. It was actually like a random thing. I just got out of work. I was like, I want ice cream, and then we just went from there. So I'm working on it.
That's like 30 points in my book.
30 points.
Yeah.
Sheesh. You're generous.
You want 50?
Huh? Heck yeah. Wait. Well, how many points you gave me?
30.
Yeah, give me 50. I want 50. Let me go for more. You know what I'm saying?
But the night not over.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so the verse I want to start off with is Psalms 139, 23, and 24. It says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my concerns. See if there's any offensive way in me. Lead me in the everlasting way." That is such a good verse. I like that verse right there because it is probably one of the most vulnerable prayer that one can ever have towards God. And it's a prayer that you're literally asking God to search you. Whatever offends you, whatever hurts you, whatever bothers you, whatever gives you anxiety, whatever gives you depression, what are those thoughts? You're literally asking God to do inner search in you. And a lot of people are too scared to ask for that. But I believe that that's probably the safest prayer we could ever give is for God to search our heart and to just show us where our weaknesses are, and so that we know what to give him, right? So the one topic that's been on our heart, and I think that God has really been putting in heavy in our family and even in our church, is healing.
Yeah.
As Christians, we always stop at salvation, right? We come in, we give our life to Christ because we were moved by a message. And then we want to go ahead and get our hands into some type of ministry. And then once we start fulfilling ourselves with those roles, we have that downtime. And in that downtime, we start realizing that we still have a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
And I know that for Christians, it becomes discouraging because in our mind is like we serve a God and the Bible says that he heals us. But then here I am stressing, here I am worried, here I am angry, here I am dealing with lust, here I am dealing with all these issues, attitude, and I can't keep a relationship. It's all these little things that kind of get in the way. And I just feel like God's really been dealing with our church and our family in a matter, or in the area of healing, right? And I know you're going through a 12-week program of inner healing, and I can see the difference. I can see the change. And I also just can really realize that how important healing is and to our character and to our ministry, to our family, to our marriages, because I can definitely see the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was first introduced about inner healing, I mean, of course, I'm I want to do it, but I didn't realize what all was in it. And so starting it, there was a lot of areas in my life that I was like, oh, I've forgiven, you know what I mean? I moved on, it doesn't bother me anymore. But uncovering it, there was some deep roots in there, there's some wounds in there that we've never really got to deal with. we never got to process those feelings at that time. And so, like, it's been a great journey to kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a little scary going through it, but it's a great journey to like go back and either forgive that little girl or forgive that person that I once was and give her grace. And that way I no longer have to carry those dysfunctions into the now, because that's what I've been doing all these years, is carrying all those dysfunctions that we've, developed, and carrying all of those wounds and bearing, the lies of the enemy. Like, it's just, yeah.
It's been encouraging.
It's been what?
It's been encouraging.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Encouraging. Not only that, like, to also want to instill these tools in my kids, in our kids, not my kids, our kids.
She does this with the bedroom things, my room, my kitchen.
Yeah, no, like having these, what I'm learning for our kids, because like there's things that I wish I was able to talk to my mom and talk to my dad about, you know what I mean? But like I didn't know how to do that, or like, back in the day, those were the types of families you just brush everything under the rug and keep it moving. You know what I mean? And so, like, I don't want to do that to our kids, and then them have to have these crazy dysfunction as they get older, and then it just like a ripple effect. Like, it would be going on from generation to generation. Like, no, it stops here with me. It stops here in our marriage. It stops here within our friendship and relationship with the community. Like, I want it to be healthy and God-centered.
Yeah. So I know that when people hear the word healing, we freak out. We're like, hold on, like, what do we got to dig up? What do we got to look at? What's going to pop out of this? Do I got to confront somebody? Do I kind of confront an issue? I think that's our biggest fear, right? So we go into something, and I know that Pastor Lisette, she preached on it about, not brushing things under the rug anymore, because at one point, at some point, it's going to come back out. And you got to get a bigger rug to keep, putting everything underneath it. So when you found out that you were going to go through the 12-week program, right? Now, granted, you're still in it. It's almost done. But, you've already covered 11 weeks of this thing, right? So you're pretty much at the finish line. But when you first heard about it, right, you heard our Pastor Randy's testimony. What were you thinking for yourself?
Like, girl, like how are you bold enough to share some things? You know what I mean? Like, even for me, like, I'm like, I started thinking about, like, you just become nervous and, like, scared of, like, digging the truth about yourself. Like, I don't want nobody to know, not even my husband, not even my children. Like, I don't want nobody to know about this about me. And so, like, it's scary to, like, to reveal some of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that you're starting to feel that freedom?
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm like, to a point where, like, I need to share my testimony, my story, because there are other people like me. You know what I mean? We're not all in this alone.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, I feel encouraged. I feel empowered to share this part of our life, because we're all going through some things. We've all been hurt. We've all been through some trials and things like that. And so, yeah, I just want to share my story.
That's good. Yeah, I know when I look at I ain't gonna lie, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous because I'm like, I got years of stuff that I've had bottled in for a long time.
Yeah.
God's definitely helped me deal with a lot of it, but there's obviously some things that I still got to deal with. And as a child and even a teenager and even my early adult ages, I was dealing with a lot of anger issues because of knowing I had all these issues and I just didn't know how to deal with it, right? So right now I'm literally just running on the grace of God and God's mercy. But now God's putting me in a season where now it's time to deal with it, right? Because I never, people around me know it. I've been vocal about it. Like, I really do not want to take it to another step in ministry unless God deals with me in certain places, because I don't want to hurt people, right? That's always been my fear of misrepresenting God, right? Like, do I fail at times? Absolutely. I miss the mark at times? I do. But for the most part, in my heart, like I can say that if God was to search my heart today, He'll see that I truly want to represent Him correctly,
Yeah.
right? And I believe that's why He's so graceful with me and patient with me and whatnot. But I believe that healing is such a crucial thing because so many people have become performance based Christians, and yet they haven't fully let God deal with their hearts. And then when they win the heart of the people, then you start to see the nasty side of them come up,
Right.
right? You're starting to see that the stuff that normally people won't like in the beginning, but then they gain such a love for people that they start to kind of, oh, that's okay. God's working up. Oh, that's okay. But no, like they never dealt with these issues.
Right.
So that's why for me, I believe that like that 12 week program is such an important thing because I don't know how many churches in this area, or that I've been to, even across the country, where they do programs like this, right? And then we start seeing them become leaders and making tons of mistakes.
Yeah.
And not that mistakes are bad, but there are mistakes that can have been avoided,
Right.
right? But I know that we're gonna be going through it and whatnot, so I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little scared about it.
Yeah, I mean, now that I've been at like, I would tell you not to be scared. Think of it like you're leading to more freedom, and like it's just like a reward,
Yeah,
like a reward. Like I'm knocking down these walls that been holding me back for many years, and like you just wanna be free and really like lean on Jesus, like wholeheartedly in this process. So I would encourage you, don't be scared.
trying not to. So what are some good tools that you learn in the process?
Some tools.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a couple. There's like two that I really lean on to. Like, so there's this thing called like open and closed fist, to where like when we have closed fists, it's like everything that we want within our control, and we're so scared to just open up our fist and really release and let God have control. And so like any situation scenario that I'm going through that I feel like I need to have control, I'm like I can go into a private place and say, Lord, like I feel like I need to control this. I need to whatever it may look like, and so I release, I open my hands and be like, okay, God, like I'm trusting you in this process.
There you go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like trusting you in this process. I'm like releasing it back to you. And there's another one where it's like you extend your hand, and so like you don't want to put your hand down on your arms down on something that's gonna support it. So basically, I like to use this tool to where like, I pray about everything that I want to release back to the Lord, and so like I just, you hold it out for like a couple minutes, and you'll feel the weight of like whatever you're going through. Like if I'm going through a bad day and I'm like, God, like I was so frustrated and this person made me mad, and my heart is feeling nasty about this, whatever it look like. And so, then I'm like, okay, I'm leaving in your hands. And when you flip your hands over, you could just feel the weight just coming off. And it's almost like that saying where, like,
Give me your burdens.
yeah, give me your burden so you feel the weight lift off your shoulders. So like those are another tool that I like to use.
Yeah.
And actually there's another one, where we go into a safe place. And we meet with Jesus in safe place. That's like a must. When you take the time to meditate and let him lead you to wherever he leads you. So there's quite a few that I really, really lean on.
So do you guys? So obviously there's a small group, right? So how does that help you build community among those around you? Like how does being vulnerable and sharing your heart with those people in there, like how does that help you? How do you feel that becomes a benefit in your healing, or even in your journey from that moment on to in your faith?
So I mean, a group of girls that I have, we've gotten to a place of like trusting and being able to open up to one another. Really like developing that comfort, safe place. Um, I don't know how did that help with the community. I guess I think when you get like words of encouragement from them and like I don't know. I guess I'm not sure. I have to think about that.
Well, I think that building community with people you can trust in the church helps out, and like you said, encouraging each other, praying for one another, being able to hear out one another
Yeah.
and whatnot. Because there are some times in this journey where it feels lonely, right? And then you need those people to stand by you to constantly remind you that God is still there with you, that
Yeah.
God is still listening to you. Even if God gives them a word to be able to give you a prophetic word that's encouraging and uplifting for you.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel that community should be in the church, is to be able to build a friendship, a brotherhood, a little sisterhood when those in the church that you can trust, so that you guys.
Okay, I thought you meant like outside, like
No.
community outside of
No,
church. Like
community in the
how do you
church.
take that? So that's what I guess
Yeah.
I was getting a little.
My bad. I probably worded it wrong, but no.
No,
When I talk
my
about
fault.
community, I'm usually always talking about the church.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, like community in that circle.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, for sure. Everything you said.
Everything I said. So all right. So you could agree that
Yeah.
that's how you feel about it.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about us taking over the media team at the church?
I mean, I think for obviously there's always a little bit of nerves, but at the same time, like when God calls you to do something, like I think we're at this point, like I'm gonna be obedient,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I guess I'm a little excited to see what God's gonna do. I mean, like you said, we've been in ministry for a long time, and of course we took a pause and getting back into it in the last year. Well, for me, 6 months, you a little longer. I'm seeing God move in our lives in such a way that I'm like so thankful for, so grateful for. And so like taking this next step, not just to say, God, like I don't know. I think I just want to be obedient. That's all.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. At the same time, I'm sad.
Yeah. Your face does not look excited at all.
No, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna suck, man. We definitely got big shoes to fill. And I said it before, like I'm good with media stuff. I could pretty much pick anything up, read it, learn it, and make it work. But definitely, like I said before, I want to make sure that I'm able to operate in the same level of grace that Jerry has for people. You know what I mean? I'm just a little bit more harsher, rougher on the edges with people. And so I'm glad I got to spend time with him and just watch him, be a leader.
Yeah.
And whatnot. I think that's gonna kind of help me approach certain situations. I guess I can do what the WWJD right there. Like, what would Jerry do?
Oh my God.
What would Jerry do in that situation? Like will he cuss him out or will he love him? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna miss them, man. It's such a. I wish we had more time with them,
yeah.
But God knows what He's doing. He knows why He put us in that season at the time that He did. But I'm definitely excited about taking that that department head on and just allow God to just show me, my ability in being creative and how far I can go with with the ministry. It's already steps ahead of most churches in the area. But just his ability to see certain things it's you don't see that everywhere. So I'm glad I've got to spend the time that I did with them. But and you guys had the women's conference that just finished up.
Yeah.
That was awesome. You guys did a great job putting it all together. You light it. Well, me and Jerry put the lighting, but even the color scheme, the wall decorations,
Yeah.
guest speakers. I mean the worship. Emily did a killer job in the intro, like and then of course you had the Fredonia students with the violins and the violas and all that stuff, and
My girl Des.
yeah, yeah. Des
From,
came down from Louisiana. What up,
yeah.
Des? Pastor Lisette came down.
Yeah.
Pastor Haley came down.
Yeah.
And Pastor Randy, man, she killed that for a sermon, man.
She
But
set the temperature.
yeah, high. She just walked into the
She
building.
dialed it up real
Yep,
high.
she went right to that one thermostat. 100. Let's turn the heat on. But it was awesome. You guys did such a good job putting that together. Your experience there, like what? How do you feel? Like, do you feel like the women got the empowerment of the Holy Spirit that they needed? Just all the one is obviously the fellowshipping, but just the word that was given to them in both nights. Like, do you think do you think this is something that's going to carry on with them?
Yes, 100%. I think what the beautiful part is that, like, obviously it's all women, you know what I mean, but like it was like hungry women that just ready to absorb, ready to receive, and just say enough is enough. I'm tired of dealing with whatever I'm going through, and the message that was given over those days was just like, I know it hit me. Like I'm still processing.
Yeah.
I'm still processing everything. And so I think this is going to set it up to where, even for next year's conference for women, and I think they're going to carry what we've had over that weekend throughout. Like they're going to hold on to that.
Yeah. And I know a lot of them are already excited for the following one. And I mean, the awesome thing too is, there were sponsorships for the women. If they couldn't afford to buy the tickets, the church covered it. People in the church, the congregation covered it. We made sure that everybody was able to make it to it. And I mean, I had to be there because obviously I had to run sound and help with camera and all that stuff. So I felt blessed just being there and whatnot, just to kind of just hear the word and be a part of the worship, just be a part of the experience and just help behind the scenes. And I hope that one day we can have one for the men soon. And I don't know. I just think that obviously women need to be fed. I just think that there's going to be a point in time where men really need something.
Oh yeah.
And whatnot. I know that
I believe that this is not. It's just starting this, and I know that I'm sure other churches have other women's conference and stuff like that, but for gospel, I believe that women, men, youth, children, like all that is going to start arising. And so it's not just men and women. I really believe that it's going to be for all people.
for men, man, I feel like God's been putting a burden heavy on my heart for the men of the church. Because I see strong men, I see capable men, I see men that from the outward can take on any task, can take on any match, can take on any fight, right? There's men in the church that I know aren't scared to throw hands if they had to, protect people if they had to. But those are the same men that God's allowing me to see that they cannot replicate that in the spirit, So I know that,
That's so good.
yeah. So I know that even for myself too, is that there is an urgency right now for the men of this area to need to be healed, right? And I think that I'm glad that we're gonna go through it. But men need it. Men need it because we look tough, but we can also be easily offended.
Yeah.
Right. We look like we can take a criticism, but then it's almost like we melt. Because we can't take the heat, right? And for me, I'm glad that the Lord worked through me with that. And I've, like I said, I've been in this thing long enough, and I've learned that sometimes most criticisms are good to build you up. But I know a lot of people don't understand it. They get offended. They leave the church and all that stuff. And I just think that I think it's time for someone to stand up in the church to just say, "Men, it's time for you to." Tighten up your belt, put your pants up, tighten your boots, and get to work. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we can't keep having sensitive people anymore. I'm not saying don't be emotional. Don't I mean I don't want to. I take that back. Don't be emotional. But if you're gonna be emotional, be healthy with it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're frustrated, be healthy being frustrated. If you're gonna be mad, be healthy mad. If you feel like something needs to be addressed, be healthy about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you see that another brother is in error, you know what I'm saying? Like again, just know how to handle that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that God, man, men need it so bad. Not just in this region. I'm talking about this region because this is where I live.
Right.
I have a heart for this place, but golly, man, we need it and whatnot. So I know God is gonna bring something forward.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him ignoring the situation. I can't imagine him doing that. No. So I know that God is working something. I am beyond grateful though that the women, you guys had your conference, and it has to start somewhere.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you guys, I'm happy for you guys that you guys did that, and I've seen, I see a whole bunch of y'all just lit up right now. Like
Yeah.
I walk in, you guys just almost caught like a fresh wind and a renewal, and whatnot. So also good too. We're seeing new people come to the church.
Yeah. Yeah, some new faces, and yeah, it's always good to see new people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's always good. So I think this was going to be a good conversation for the new ones. Mm-hmm. When we come into a place like church for the first time, we bring in almost like that old attitude. All right, we're bringing our offense from the streets with us. We're bringing our offense from our family. We're bringing in our broken ideas of how people should be, what people are, what loyalty looks like, and all this stuff. What would be your advice to new believers that are stepping their foot in the church? Like, what would be your advice on how to deal with offense, how to have an open mind in the church, how to have an open heart in the church, and how to approach their new walk?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. I think. I don't know, David. I can't think. I'm sorry.
Good God.
I'm tired.
Ask the question back.
What do you think?
I was waiting for you to ask me. I thought you never asked. All right. So I think when approaching a new believer and having a one-on-one with them and you're talking to them about what it's like.
But here's the thing. Now, let me cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But like, are you talking like someone that's been coming for a little bit, that's a new believer, or like someone that's like fresh?
Well, it all depends on what your relationship is with them, right? If they're brand spanking new, like just baby Christians, and they come in but they know you, and they're talking to you, it's like, man, like I really been needing this and everything else, and you have that relationship to be like, hey, let's go out to eat, let's go get some coffee,
Yeah.
And obviously you have their ear. So so just don't overbroad the thought process on this one. It's more like if somebody is new and you have a relationship with them.
Okay.
I always say that you cannot correct anybody unless you have a relationship with them.
Okay.
So in other words, like even if it takes a month, as hey, how you doing? I love you. I'm glad you're here. You're building that rapport with them, hearing them out. Like even if it's a 15-minute talk, then you can be like, hey, we should have coffee. I think at that point you build some kind of trust and some comfort with that person, and then you can have discussions. Yeah. And it's not even a correction thing, right? It's just more like, hey, listen, you're a new believer, and I know that when we come to church is because the world has hurt us, right? But I want to challenge you that while you're here, to just be open hearted. You know what I'm saying? Be okay with loving. Be okay with accepting new friends. Be okay with all, you know what I'm saying? It's like having those conversations with them.
Yeah.
Because I think that it is important that we help people with guidance, right? We do it with love. We do it with wisdom.
Yeah.
Because some people just talk out their face. Do it with wisdom. And like, hey, man, listen, like, I know you were in church, and I know that when we come to God, it's because the world hurt us. Our trust has been broken. Our hearts have been broken. Our mindset, we might have went through something that our minds have just changed, and we no longer look at human beings the same anymore. But I just want to encourage you that while you're in here, God looks at things different. Like I just want to challenge you to have an open heart, have an open mind, and whatnot. Allow like the community to love you, your brothers and sisters in Christ to love on you, to just teach you, to work with you, and because that will give room for God to pour into your heart, because you're no longer with a wall.
Right.
And like the worst part of anybody, the hardest part for not hard for God to do the work, but the hardest part for us to receive from God is when we have our strongholds up.
Right.
Right, when we build pillars and towers around us and fences. And at that point, like every time somebody tries to approach, we're throwing darts, we're throwing arrows with fire on it. So I think that should be a conversation that we have with new believers. If we built relationship and just be like, hey, can we go have some coffee? Listen, I just want to encourage you. Have an open heart, have an open mind, because you know what I'm saying. Like if you're not able to let anybody in the church to work with you, to love on you, to build trust, man, you're gonna have a hard time receiving from God.
Right.
Because at that point, you're already at the offense. You're already on defense, and then when your offense is gonna be violence, or it's gonna be rejection. It's gonna be pushing people away, and whatnot. So I think that should be an approach and whatnot, and how we deal with new believers.
Yeah.
And whatnot. I don't know.
No.
I think that's Again, I just think that sometimes people come to the church brand new, and then they're just kind of like nobody's really pouring into them, or nobody's really guiding them with the reality. There's too much. Listen, man, we are a broken world. We are broken people. We will do some messed up things and whatnot. But we have to understand that we still, we are people that also believe in repentance. Mm-hmm. I hope we are people that believe in repentance, but for the most part, Christians are people that believe in repentance, and everything that we do, we are going to approach it that way, with that mindset, like, oh man, I messed up. Lord, I'm sorry. Give me the courage to talk to this person and apologize for what I did wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we're different, is that we're always on our toes to ask for forgiveness and redirect our steps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's the case for everybody, but that should be the heart of a Christian, is to always be aware of what they say wrong. And I think that's where that Bible verse is good, is to be like, God, search my heart, search my thoughts, search those things that make me anxious, search those things that that just will make me make the wrong choices, and then show me how to do it right. I know for me, like I've one of my biggest things that like you said before, was that we have all these hurts, but we don't know how to deal with them. We don't know how to start with it. For me, that's my case. My case is like, I don't know how to start with it, but I've asked God before. God, show me what started all this in my life.
Yeah.
What started, my direction with lust and all this different stuff. And I believe the Lord shared that with me. I'm not going to share it on here.
Yeah.
But I believe the Lord shared it with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It only makes sense. The way he showed me, the way I saw it, it made sense. Now it's a matter of how to apply it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because when it did happen, I was a kid. I didn't know no better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was just a kid.
Right.
And when the devil knew what he was doing, he knew how to set up, how to try to, deal, mess with people that God has called.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And I say that humbly and with, with all humility.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm not going to put it on here, but I, for me, that's why it's so important that we learn to ask God, like, God, show me what the problem is.
Yeah.
Show me where the error is. Show me what brought me here. And then when God shows it, is how do I deal with it? Like, how do I give this to you?
Yeah.
And which I think that idea is so dope. Like, there's a representation and the metaphor of like the weight coming for at your hands of all the things you've held, and then when you release it, you feel the weight coming off, right? And it correlates with that scripture of saying like, pretty much take on my yoke because my burden is light.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because his burden is light.
Right.
There's nothing on God's shoulder that he can't hold.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So.
But I think for you is that, like, when you were saying, like, God, show me, and he shows you, but like then we need to talk to him about it. Like, he showed you. God knows everything. Mm-hmm. He's seen it all. But like now we need to talk to him about it. Like, really like lament to him, like and really pour your heart and like the frustration, but like I don't, that God's not gonna get offended on what you say, and I think that you just need to talk to him about that and like cry it out. I'm
tired of crying, but I know it's gonna happen again.
I think honestly this inner healing, I think this is the most I've ever cried.
I know when I saw you, I said I saw you that one day you calmed me down. And you were crying. I looked at the book. I said, "Oh God, I don't want to do this." I was like, "I don't want to do this."
But the beauty about that is, like, yeah, we cried, but like, and Randy was telling me that like God is catching every single tear that I cry. And I think there's something in the Bible regarding that. Listen, I butcher scripture, so I ain't gonna say it. But like when I think about like all the tears that I cry, I think about it like, man, like he's catching every single tear that I shed. And like even when I was telling you about like the bandage, you know what I mean, and when I went to Safe Place, like it represented his robe. And when I was crying, I told God, I'm like, I don't want to mess up your robe. And he was like, no, I want you to cry in my robe. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, crying is good. He catches every single tear.
Okay, let me see. Psalms, that's Psalm 56:8. It says, "You keep track of all my sorrows, and you have collected all my tears in your bottle. Mm-hmm. You have recorded each one in your book."
Yeah, yeah. And so like, if I'm gonna cry, like I cry at every worship song. I cry, I'm frustrated. I cry and I'm happy. I'm crying because I'm hangry. I cry, you know what I mean? But he's catching every single tear, and I'm like, all right, I'll cry some more.
I hope you ain't crying because you're hungry.
Huh?
I hope you don't be crying because you're hungry.
I do. I would like, I just want a cookie.
Hey. Well, but we're gonna end this podcast here.
Yeah.
It's getting late. We have to be up. We have to show up to work on time.
7 o'clock, y'all.
On time. Oh, before we close though, I'm proud of ourselves. We've been going to the gym.
Yeah.
We've been waking up. We've been waking up at 4:30 in the morning. It hurts, but we've been making it to the gym.
We've been making the gym, but have we been eating right?
Nah, don't worry. We've been eating right, but it's been feeling good to be in the gym. But yeah, we got to change. I got to change my eating habits. But
yeah,
there's a whole other $20, like we say in Puerto Rico. Also, otro 20 pesos. But we're gonna end this here, you guys. I hope that it all makes sense. I hope that you guys are blessed with this content. I know it's such a long time, and who knows when it's gonna be the next episode. Yeah. We are very busy with work, family, ministry. But I do want to try to make every effort I can to, or both of us, to create more content. But we definitely had a lot to talk about. Next time I'm gonna do it early in the morning so that my wife's brain works a little better.
Yeah, listen, y'all. Like, there's two things. When I'm tired, I lose my train of thought. Like I was just looking at David, like, and you know how you see those memes where like numbers are floating everywhere, and that's what I was seeing. I was seeing words floating everywhere, and I was like, where he at? Or two, I get real giddily. I get real, you know me, I always laugh a lot.
You do that when you wake up.
Can I?
No. Don't you dare. All right, y'all, we out. She's about to act up.
I do want to say, though, is that put in the comments, for whoever's watching, put in the comments, what's the next podcast, like?
What's the topic?
Like, do y'all want, how to raise a family topic? Do you want marriage topic? Do you want, I don't know. Just send us some topics.
Just let us know. So, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you can see when we're posting new stuff, and leave a comment. Yeah. All right, so like my wife said, leave a comment as to what you want the next topic to be. And help us out, too. It definitely will help us out. So, y'all, let's interact together. Let's get to know each other a little bit more. I hope this was a blessing to you. Well, here is episode 2 of Let 'Em Hear podcast with my wife, Nachelle.
39.
Huh?
That was 39.
39.
No, negative 39.
Probably negative, yeah. I wish I had 39 episodes, but... All right, yo, we out of here, yo.
Right.
Love y'all. Peace.
Love you. Bye.